everybody. This is Mr. Dockery. Today is Alumni Day. I got a chance to catch up with Mr. Williams. He works in our district and at the middle school, and he serves as a football coach as well. So I just got a chance to catch up with him and talk with him about his experience being a Big Red, graduating from Muskegon High School, and then as he went on into his life, kind of the path that he took. All right, let's check it out. All right, Mr. Williams, how you doing this evening?
I'm good, Mr. Dockery. I'm good. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. I just wanted to get on with you for a few. I had talked when we had kind of talked. I had told you about what we was doing at the high school with seminar, and I'm doing grades 10 through 12. But Monday's our Alumni Day, and I thought it'd be good to just connect with you and let some of our kids hear your story. Being that you, not only because we work together and coach together, but I mean, obviously you work in the school as well. A lot of the kids know you. But like them, like I don't know your story. You know, you're a Big Red, obviously. And I just thought it'd be good for them to hear from you and share some of your experiences with them. So before we get into a couple of the questions, like, could you just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, about your life up until this point right now?
Thanks for, thinking of me for the Alumni Day with seminar. So I don't take those. Whenever somebody want to speak to you or have you speak to someone else, especially a group of young people, I never take those type of things lightly. So thanks to you, first of all. But yeah, I guess a little bit about me. As you know, some may know my name is Cameron Williams. I'm here. I've been here my whole life. I'm 37. Born and raised here in Muskegon. Married, have 2 daughters right now, 11 and 4. Oldest daughter attends the middle school, Muskegon Middle School. She's a 6th grader now, which, you know, kind of makes me feel old. My youngest daughter just started school for the first time. But yeah, like I said, I was born and raised here. 37. I MPS my whole life. I really only went to 3 schools. I went to Moon K through 5. Went to Bunker. Bunker was a middle school. 6 through 8, and then 9 through 12. I went to Muskegon. It's crazy because just about a month ago, we actually had our 20th class reunion. And graduated class of 2001. So that felt good to get back and see a lot of people we haven't seen in a long time. But like I said, I've been here. I've coached football in the system, starting from the middle school. Well, when it was still Bunker and still existed. I coached down there. After I graduated, I did some college. I know you said we'll probably talk a little bit about that, but I did some college. Unfortunately, I didn't finish. But like we said, college isn't necessarily a thing for everybody. But they have some secondary education, just working, taking care of myself and my family. Was raised my mother and father. Tony, he owns his own branch of Farmers Insurance, and my mother works in the school system as well. And currently, my wife does as well. So just kind of come from family of educators. So that's really it kind of about me. I'm big on faith, like I said, faith, family, and of course football. That's kind of a cliche you hear before, but that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm an introvert, so to speak, sometimes like I can be outgoing if I know you and we cool, but I'm just as fine being in a room full of people and not saying much. So, that's just a little bit about me with, without taking up, too much time.
I appreciate that just from a, like I said, from a personal standpoint. Like I know you, we work together and things like that. And, our relationship has grown, but I, didn't know your story a little bit. And you kind of touched on a couple of things that I think is important for our kids to hear. Like you said, you did some school after graduation. Uh, and so we preach, I know in the public school system or any school system, educational system, we preach, go to college and things like that. But at the end of the day, college isn't for everybody. There's still some other opportunities out there in order for people to be successful. And I mean, I just speak from my personal experience. If it wasn't for football, I'm not sure if I would have went to college. Football just created an avenue for me. And so, but with you, like I said, I admire you so much because you are extremely successful and you didn't finish, you didn't go to college. You know what I mean? So I think that's a message that a lot of our kids can pick up on. Yeah, college isn't for everybody, but just because you don't go to college does not mean you can't be successful in life. I mean, you mentioned, your wife and your kids being MPS. You've been MPS your whole life, so you're a diehard Big Red, and so which kind of brings me to my next question. What you said you've been MPS your whole life. You've coached in this system. You're in the school system now. You've been at the high school. Now you're at the middle. You transitioned down to the middle school to work. So, like, it's Big Red through and through. So, what does it mean to you? That Big Red pride thing. What does that mean to you to be a Big Red?
Montreal is really, I think it's different with me and even, just my family versus a lot of people. I do know some people that's kind of in my, in my position, and they have, the pride, and families have came through, kind of similar. I think mine is a little different just because of the sports aspect and the work aspect, as far as in the school system, because some people kind of have either or. Not many have not many have both. But and I say that only because, like I said, growing up, myself, as whoever I went to school with, it was a different type of pride thing. Like for your school district, when we were younger, growing up, we never thought about not going to the school we went to. We never thought of excuse me. We never thought about. It wasn't about transferring. It wasn't about parents necessarily was unhappy about something, so the child's going here. It really was, I never thought about nothing but being a Big Red, honestly. Playing for Muskegon, I never was going to go anywhere but Muskegon, long as, we lived here in Michigan. And the same thing was true for, kids from other districts. If you, from downtown, if you're from the Heights, if you just never really thought about doing anything different. That really was never an option. Unfortunately, that changed a little later on in the years, as far as the school of choice helped a lot of things, and then it also hurt a lot of things. And I think that sense of pride just in your, district, social media, plays a part. It's so many things that I could point to that probably would take up too much time to point out that kind of really changed, the way that went. But as far as, like myself, I remember going to the games as, you know, I couldn't even walk. I think I was 3 the first time we won the state championship, and I was there in '89, and I was, you know, so I was there for all of them. And my mom's brothers, they all played in the '70s, and, you know, all the way growing up, you know, all people would tell me was, you know, how good they were when, you know, when they were younger. And again, it was just a sense of pride. So as I was playing, you know, I had that to feed off of. You always had that family support when you were, you know, when I was younger, even before I made it, you know, to the high school and, you know, middle school, and, you know, and all of those type of things. So, like I say, it was nothing like going to school throughout the week and then going to Hackley Stadium on a Friday night, walking through that tunnel, and then, you know, going in the stands and watching your favorite Big Red play. Like I said, my all-time favorite, you know, Big Red to watch play, we actually just lost him, was Rick Piggy. And like I said, he was my hometown, like, football, like, idol, you know. But we were really close because of one of my uncles, and, you know, so he was just like family. So that was, you know, again, that's just something that you know, I don't think you get too much of now, just because of the, you know, the switching and the transfers. And, you know, just from the time I was little, I knew that's what, you know, where I was going to go, and, you know, what I was going to do. So, and, you know, it went beyond athletics and just with school and just having pride in your, you know, in your district. And, you know, my parents and all my aunts and uncles on my mom's side anyway, you know, everybody was a Big Red. And, you know, everybody was proud, and everybody, you know, everybody had their pride like that. It was a real family thing. So, and all my cousins, you know, we came through and we played, and, you know, it was just, like I said, it's just something a little bit different now, but it's always been something that's been rooted in me just because of family.
Right. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we talk about pride. I know, I mean, you got the whole 80 West Southern boys thing kicking off. I mean, and you even went to girls. You crossed out the Title IX issue and got 80 West Southern girls.
Yeah, definitely.
Whenever I see that, like, you the first thing that come to my mind when I see 80 West Southern. You know, I know that's Mr. Williams' brand, and you see
Right.
people wearing it all the time. And so I agree, man. Just social media and, you know, things like that has really kind of took a damp in the pride. I mean, it's still there, obviously, but it's just too many choices out there, and the pride has kind of, you know, been stripped away just a tad bit. But on the flip side, it's too much tradition, I think, in the Big Red family, Big Red Nation, to be completely wiped out. I guess
Absolutely.
the last thing I want to ask you, I don't want to take up too much of your time, because you just like our kids. You're from the same neighborhood they from. You walk the same streets that they walked. You walk the same hallways that they walked at the high school. You just did them X amount of years ago. What would be your advice to them? Because I know you relate so well with them and connect with them. What would be your advice to them as they move through high school and transition onto graduation and start to build their life or family, or whatever path they choose to take as they go through high school and graduate from Muskegon High School? What would be your advice to them?
You know, probably just to kind of make it their own, like, kind of make it their own thing, like, have their own, like I said, it's just different now, because, you know, now a kid might go, they could be graduating, they could be a sophomore or junior at Muskegon, and their parents or whoever, or nobody, you know, some people in their family, whoever, went to completely different schools, and they, you know, so they don't, so it's a little bit different when maybe the parents don't have that sense of pride in their school, and that's no knock on the parents. or nobody else in their family because, they have their, loyalties and pride in their, in their own thing that they have. But just kind of, if you're going to be a graduate of Muskegon High School, just be proud of that. Make it, make it your own thing. It's still a really good school to graduate from, to be a part of. It's known all over the country. I think the biggest knock, like we're known for athletics, but I think the biggest knock and the most disappointment I hear if someone doesn't go to Muskegon High School, or they pull their child out of the district maybe, and they say it's because it's academics. And, I just want to tell you that, like, that's false. If you want to go to school, if you care about, your classes, and if you care about your education, we've seen plenty of times kids be able to go on and do great things at any college or any university, or whatever it is that they want to do. Like I said, we talked about college, and you don't necessarily have to go to college anymore, just because the technology and the social media and different aspects that you can, different avenues and lanes that you can take now. You don't have to go to college necessarily to be quote unquote successful. So you can do that from Muskegon High School. You can do that being a Big Red, being proud of where you're from. And I guess my thing is, if you don't like it, graduate, do something to make it better, try to help change it, because, definitely far from perfect. I will say that, but, it's definitely home. And like I said, we had our reunion about a month ago. And I think the best thing that probably happened during that weekend was, mind you, I haven't seen some of these people in 20 years. Some people I talk to often. Some people we're still really close. But a lot of people that I haven't seen in years, some people that were maybe even supposed to go off and necessarily do, like, really great things based on grades and academics in school. Some people are doing well. Some people, just things didn't work out the way they planned, when they, when they graduated, which life happens. So, but people were asking, like, so what are you doing now? And, we play sports. I played football, ran track. And so we having all these conversations, and none of it had to do with sports. None of it had to do with athletics. Everything was about, people's families, people's kids, kind of what they're doing in their careers. And, for me to be able to, say, certain things that I'm doing or I have done, like you said, proves that you can be successful, and not necessarily, if you play sports, success is not measured by making it to the NFL or to the NBA or, the WNBA or to the Olympic or whatever, whatever it is. Like, we can't be defined by just, sports or even academics necessarily. And, a lot of people was, telling me just they appreciate the things that they see working with the kids and giving back. And, so that made me feel, probably as good as, anything could have, as, as far as any amount of money, your peers really telling you that, that you've done a great job, after, 20 years of graduating high school, and everybody still having that pride and that sense of tradition and family. So, you could go on and on about that topic. But like I said, I think just make it your own. Be proud of whatever class you're graduating in. Be proud of that. Be proud of yourself. Be a Big Red. Be resilient. Nobody knows, really what you go through. But coming from, like you said, walking the same halls, from the same neighborhoods, still, being around, just keep pushing. Just keep pushing, man, and be the best 80 West Southern boy and girl, and turn it into man and woman.
Sweet, sweet. I appreciate that. I think the kids will appreciate that too. One last thing before I let you go, you had just mentioned, I think it's so big. One of the biggest knocks and misconceptions that we get as a district is the academia piece. And I mean, and you can attest to this, Khalil Pimpleton, who's a relative of yours. I mean, he was an early enrollee at Virginia Tech. You know, I know Miss Ego, she's had students in her past classes who have went on to the University of Michigan. And so, you know, I'll step out on a limb, you
I
know,
believe.
and I'll say that like I see the work that our teachers put in, our educators put in, and our administrators put in to make sure that this is the best academic experience for our kids. And so I'm not sure why we get that bad rep, knock on our school, but I'll be the first to say that our teachers work extremely hard because our kids are tough to deal with at times, and they give them the benefit of the doubt. They're willing to work with them, stay after late, come early. And I think that message needs to get out there more, contrary to what we get now.
For sure.
I don't got no more questions. If you all good, I'm good. The kids will be saying this. I appreciate you taking a minute of your evening to talk with me about a couple things.
No problem.
All right.
Man.
We all set. I'll see you tomorrow at practice.
Appreciate it, Mr. Dockery. All right, y'all.